All right, so we've got the iPhone 16 Pro on the right-hand side running iOS 26 Developer Beta 1. And then on this side, I've got GrapheneOS. It's actually Android 15 GrapheneOS, and this is on the Pixel 7a. So more of a premium phone over here and up to date. And then this is an older phone with, a different operating system. So an older phone and a less premium phone. But anyways, the main thing that I've been doing here was trying to check out the software and seeing, because I'm a huge Apple user. So I wanted to make sure or see, if I was able to switch over to GrapheneOS. I had tried it in the past, and it was a little too inconvenient. So I took another dive in here. And one of the things that I really utilize with iOS is the focus modes. So I'm able to have a work focus mode, a sleep focus mode, a different work focus modes for different applications and stuff like that, which is great. But I'm still actually only able, unless if the application itself supports multiple accounts, I'm only able to use one account. So let's say I've got, It's interesting. Let's just say I've got maybe two, Bitwarden accounts or something like that, or what do I have on here? I've got a lot of apps on here. So anyways, let's just say, I had I don't know, whatever. If there's an account that has multiple, if there's an app that has multiple user accounts in it, it's more difficult to manage those in this setup. The focus modes are super nice because it does allow you to get into focus, but basically I'm a consultant, so I kind of have lots of different accounts, and this really helps out with that, because what I'm able to do is I'm able to switch user accounts. So you just come down here and there's this option. So there are user accounts. So then I can have, I've got a user account, a work user account, a financial one, and then an owner one. So it's pretty cool because inside here, okay, let me just back up a little bit. Inside this owner account, it's like you download all of the apps, and then from that point, you can provide access to any of these ones. So on the owner account, I don't really do anything. That's just kind of like a loading page, a side of burritos someone mentioned it to him, and then he tried it, and then that worked really good. So through the grapevine, I guess I kind of have done that. It looks like the screen is flickering. The refresh rate on this phone is not as good, So what I would like to do next, basically, is get a flagship Pixel phone to be able to run GrapheneOS and kind of have more of a hardware apples-to-apples comparison. So I'm just kind of rambling in a lot on this stuff here. But the nice thing, again, is so on this phone, let's say I switch to my work focus mode. Okay, so we've got things set up. Clearly, I've got a lot of work to do, but, use a lot of Microsoft for that. So I kind of have my home page customized, and then, widgets, and then I just swipe over, and then everything is always in the app library. So conversely, on here, I switch profiles, and then, I pretty much have everything on the home page. I think on this one, I've got some extra stuff over here because I like the app library organization, social utilities, finance, productivity, just in general. So I would kind of manually replicate an app library in this side screen. Otherwise, everything's here and in folders. And then, then I can swipe up and I've got all of the apps. So let's say I switch over to my work account, switch to work, and then go ahead and do the fingerprint. So now you can see I've got different icons laid out on the home screen, and it's just customized to work. You know, I've got a couple of those applications, and then we've got good applications in here, but there's nothing to the side, nothing to that side. And then I just have different applications installed on this profile. So maybe there are a couple that I don't use all the time, and then they're down here. But, you know, it's nice to have this. And then now let's switch over to financial. Okay, so I switch over to finance, and don't mind me, I'll just do. So the first time that you switch to a different account, you're going to need to enter that passcode to authenticate, but then you can use biometrics to authenticate. So on this one, I don't even have like a back screen or anything like that, and I just have, you know, the financial stuff down here, my apps, and then a password manager, web browser, and a messenger for like two-factor, you know, SMS. And then, so then we just roll over to back to the owner account now for the first time, actually, since we've been in the video. Oh, there we go. Oh, okay. And in here, there are all of the apps, you know, but for the most part, you don't, like, I just don't give them any permissions or anything like that. And they sit here, I'm not logged into them, and then I log into the application in the user account or profile that is designated for that application's use, you know, finance or work. But it's kind of nice for me because, you know, as a consultant, it's like, okay, I can have certain profiles for certain businesses that I'm working with, if they're like a long-time client or something like that. So that's just really cool. And then, you know, when I'm off the clock, man, you know, boom, I'm off the clock. You can just switch here and, you know, we're good to go. So that's pretty cool. I like that setup. So the next thing is for me to get a more premium phone to attempt to match like the experience that I'm able to have on the iPhone, because I really just like the feel of this. You know, you do get some legs and stuff like that on this one. Also, I like the actual build quality. Well, maybe not the build quality, but just the design. This one's square. So the 9A, or, well, the 9A is not the flagship, but the 9 and the 9 Pro kind of look like the iPhone, actually. And, you know, it's not that I want it to look like Apple, but I genuinely just, it's more comfortable. This one kind of feels weird in my hand. So anyways, while we're here, one of the other things is I've got a matte screen protector on this one, a glass, you know, tempered glass matte screen protector, which is awesome. I love the feel of that. And it kind of like adds an interesting look, even though it's not as sharp. I kind of like the look. It's weird. So I kind of want to get that on here too, but I'm really liking, you know, rocking the phone without a case. So I'm kind of tempted to get the 9A, because, you know, it's $450 or $500. I can rock it without a case and then have this phone as like a backup just in case something does happen to that one. And, you know, let's say that phone gets obliterated and I need to get another one, boom, you know, $500 or whatever. Or if there's a new model out, you know, whatever that model is. And, you know, this phone is, you know, $1,200 or something dollars. So, you know, not that, if money wasn't an issue, it's still like the principle and philosophy of kind of owning your device, even though, you know, everyone's always going to be able to take something away from you. But you're not giving away as much as you are with this one here, you know, they still can come and take it, but you're not giving it away. You're not leaking it. This one more so leaking it. Oh man, okay, well, looks like I got some work to do.